Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be analyzing the major themes in the novel Anthills of the Savannah by Chinua Achebe. In our previous discussions, we analyzed the plot of the novel as well as the characters and the roles that each character play in the novel. So today we are going to be discussing the themes in the novel. So let's go on. The first thing we are going to be analyzing today is the theme of political corruption and bad leadership. For some of you who have already listened and watched the video on the plot of the novel, you will realize that there is great corruption in the novel. The novel portrayed the corruption in the political leadership in West Africa. So, political corruption is one of the most prevalent and major theme in the novel, The Anthills of the Savannah. So, the fictional state of Kanga is fully surrounded by the atmosphere of political corruption. Sam, the president, is a corrupt dictator. He only cares for himself and takes decisions that benefit him rather than the people of Kanga. Despite being their leader, he has distanced himself from the people of Kanga Republic. So all these represent bad practice of a president, which is not favorable to political leadership. Another instance of bad leadership is the opposition between Sam and other members of the cabinet, especially Chris and Ike Moshodi. These are two friends of the president, the political dictator Sam, childhood friends. But now, because of power hungry, because of Sam is so hungry for power, he turned his friend to his enemy. So Sam's corrupt dictatorial rule let down the dreams and hopes of many Kangan's people. The way he deals with the problem of the Amazonian delegations reflect the selfish and corrupt nature of his government. Instead of sorting out the problem of the Kanga people, he turns his back to their needs. So Sam's thirst for power grows day by day, leading him to eradicate everyone who comes in his way. He doesn't hesitate to silence those who doubt him and who comes in his way and stands against him, include his longtime friend such as Ikems and Chris. So through the depiction of a corrupt political regime and bad leadership in the novel, Achebe has attacked the political corruption that characterized the military regime in Nigeria after independence. So Achebe has revealed the fact that if the leadership of any country is corrupt and bad, so will be its society. So the negative aspect of society always relate back to the negative aspect of its leadership. Such a wretched power gain can never encourage good leadership in any state and badly affect every aspect of life and every relationship that the state has with its people. And that was why there was no any form of a friendship between the Kangan people and Sam, because he was more concerned of what he will get from the people and what he will get from the country, how to exploit the people of Kanga. Another theme in the novel is that of power and authority. So the novel also deals with the theme of power and its acquisition, use and abuse. So the novel Anthills of Savannah shows that the abuse of political power and authority always lead to tragic consequences And we could see that in the life of the president, Sam. Even though he toppled another military government, he told the people to call him His Excellency, a title that associates with democratic leaders. So a nation falls apart when its leaders make wrong choices in handling political power and authority. So in the novel, the author has shown the tragic consequence of abuse of power through the depiction of the president of Kanga, Sam. Sam exercises unchecked power over his people and fails to construct a strong bond with them. His decisions are unchangeable, dictatorial, and unquestionable. His thirst for power expands to an ambition to be the president for life with total authority. So, in order to protect his authority, the president can do anything. In fact, his ambition also blinds his ability to foresee the consequences of his ruthless treatment of others. For instance, when Ikem criticizes the inability of Sam's government to meet the needs of the people of Kanga, he doesn't hesitate to order Ikem's assassination. Thus, he is an irrational and despotic leader who only enhances the sufferings of his people. It is his growing need for absolute power that leads him to corruption. And the detailed description of the presidential guest house at Abichi Lake Resort further revealed the president's abuse of power. This description by the author, artist Achebe, provides a striking contrast to the poor, dehumanizing condition in which the people of Amazon province live. And note that the Amazon province, we are really suffering. They do not even have water to drink. So, through Sam's abuse of power and the resulting tragic fall, the author, that is Achebe, illustrates that the leaders who oppose the will of their people always face tragic demise. And that was why another dictator toppled the government of Sam and he was killed. Female role and emancipation is another major theme in the novel. And the major female role in this novel is that of Beatrice. So we could see that the author brings to the forefront the importance of female emancipation in the novel. So Achebe takes up the feminist theme in his novel to demonstrate that women need to be a major part of the solution to Africa's miseries. So their role in the development of Nigerian society can't be underestimated. The novel presents the character of Beatrice Oko, an educated, independent, sophisticated, and politically active woman. She embodies all Achebe's consideration for the essential role of women as instigators of change in the modern Nigerian society and West Africa at large. So, Beatrice's connection to Ike Moshodi, to Chris and Sam qualify her as the most cohesive agent of the story. She senses that Chris and Ike are in danger and advises them to be careful of Sam, who was once their good friend but now has turned to a dictator. Also, Beatrice attempts to instruct Sam on the outcome of his actions. And Beatrice accuses Ikem of being gender biased and tells him that he has no clear role for women in his political thinking. So, as a result, Ikem reconsiders his view on the role of women in the society. So, In the final scene, Beatrice performed the naming ceremony of Ikem and Elewa's daughter after Ikem was killed or assassinated. And traditionally, the naming ceremony was typically led by a revered main member of the community. But in this novel, Achebe has chosen Beatrice to improvise this old ritual. So the name given to the baby girl is Amechina, a boy's name meaning may the path never close. So by giving a boy's name to the girl child, she reconfigures the conventional gender roles and give hope of a healthy society built by the effort of both men and women, where gender bias will be minimal. So, another major theme in the novel is that of writer's role in a society. So, who is the writer in the novel? Of course, is Ikem Oshodi. So, Achebe mirrors this theme through the novel's most radical character, Ikem Oshodi. Ikem is a crusading journalist and a talented poet. He is outspoken, brave, and never hesitates to criticize the rotten policies of Kanga's government led by Sam. So Ikem wrote editorials in the National Gazette that constantly draw people's attention to the country's widespread poverty, corruption, and inequality. It is through Ikem's character that Achebe addresses all the important questions regarding the role of the writer in an African society. So Ikem's character depicts that a writer should not be a mere reporter or a participant of the event. Rather, a writer should have an active and influential role in the development of a nation. So, as the old Amazon leader reminds Ikem, a writer also holds special responsibility as the repositories of communal memory. So, in the novel, Achebe has shown that a writer does not provide solutions to problems or give answers. Instead, he asks questions. These questions urge the reader to seek for their answers. Thus, the most important role of the writer, according to Achebe in this novel, is to persuade people to reflect upon the condition of their lives and raise their consciousness. As a result, they will be able to ponder why things are wrong and by that be able to provide solutions to the problems and correct the wrongdoings. So another major theme is that of struggle and change. In the novel, there were a lot of struggle for change, to make a better change, to bring a kind of good change to the members of the country, especially the people of Amazon, and at large the citizens of Kanga Republic. So we saw that the reason why Sam have to topple the government or accept to be the leader was because the yearning for the change. The people were struggling to change because they want to get out of poverty. They want to get out of dehumanization and the military despotic. But rather than bringing change, Sam's government bring a lot of poverty. In fact, aggravated the poverty of the citizenry. And many people in Kanga Republic became poorer during Sam's regime. And Sam did not listen to the opinions of Chris and that of the criticisms of Ikem. Rather, his plan was to become a life president. Can you say something in this issue of life president? Who has ever tried to be a life president in Nigeria? Or who has attempted to call himself His Excellency, who is just a military head of state, where the only military leader who has attempted or called himself His Excellency instead of head of state is General Babangida, the one-time head of state in Nigeria. Now let's go to another theme, the theme of conflict of interest. Ikem Moshodi, Chris, and Sam have a unilateral interest, a common interest from their childhood to when they started a government in Kanga Republic. Their plan was to bring a good government and better the lives of the citizens of Kanga. And that was the watchword of Ikem Moshodi and Chris. And Sam also was part of it from the beginning. Now, when Sam got to the seat of power, there was conflict of interest. Sam was no longer concerned about the welfare of the people. He was more concerned about appropriating and arrogating powers to himself and getting away with anyone who stand on his way, taking everybody off who stand on his way. So now, why Chris and Ikem Moshodi are concerned about the life of the people, Sam is more concerned about how he can be a life president. A president that cannot be toppled, a president that cannot be impeached, a president that cannot be removed by any means. He can only be removed by death. That was his interest, that was his concern, that was his pursuit. So he was no longer concerned about the people. And as a result of that, there was conflict of interest because the primary interest of the three friends, Sam have deviated from it. And that was why Ikem Moshodi criticizes the government of Sam often in the National Gazette editorials. And instead of reconciliation, there is another clash of interest. Sam was planning to kill Ikem. Before they got to power, they have common interest. When there is any misunderstanding, they reconcile each other. But now, Sam was more concerned of getting Ikem off the radar by killing him. And you see, there's conflict of interest. So, at the same time, why the people of Abazon were more concerned about getting out of drought and poverty, Sam did not care about the province of Abazon. He was more concerned about even killing them if they do not arrogate to his interest. By denying them access to water, by refusing to supply them water, by ensuring that water is not supplied to Abazonians, so that they will suffer not and coward submit to his demand for life presidency, so that plebiscite or referendum will be held in the province of Abazon. But he did not succeed. Though he succeeded in making himself a dictator, but another government toppled him and then he was killed. Why he is assassinated, he sent his secret police to assassinate Ikem Moshodi, which they did. We saw also that he also, who killed by the sword, died by the sword. He was toppled and killed. And Chris even was killed also by another soldier who wanted to rape a lady, which Chris was attempting to rescue the lady from. So the three friends died. No, they died on different interests. Ikem was killed, Chris was killed, Sam was also killed, but he was toppled, his government was removed, and then he was killed on that process. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And in our subsequent lesson, we are going to be discussing the major literary devices used in the novel. Thank you and have a good day.